Well, I got some bad news in regards to PayPal stock. I mean, just when it feels like the blow from earnings was finally starting to settle and we were actually stabilizing, bang! Another hit that just does not help us at all as shareholders. But there was some good news that came out as well that we need to discuss too, and this has me excited as a shareholder as well, and I'll tell you exactly why. And of course, they both affect the stock price too, so we'll talk about the impact on the share price as well. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype. And I believe everybody can retire early and have financial freedom. So if you want total control over your life, I'll show you the very real alternative to achieve financial freedom and to retire early. So make sure you check out the pinned comment down there for my new channel, where that's all we talk about is financial freedom and retiring early. All right, so we have some bad news and some good news, and both of them are going to affect the stock. So let's talk about both of them, but we'll start with the negative news first, and then we'll jump over to the positive news after that and how it affects the share price and everything else. So we got yet another downgrade from Daiwa Securities. I think that's the name. I don't know. You guys tell me. Basically now putting PayPal at a neutral from outperform where it was previously and lowering their price target from $64 to a super low $62. Yeah, I know it's analysts. Their upgrades and downgrades are stupid, but this highlights a bigger problem, and there's three reasons behind all that. First, it's the third downgrade in just over a week. Now, yes, I understand this downgrade is completely weak. Who freaking cares? And I know we hate analysts here on this channel. They're absolutely useless. They mean nothing. I pay no attention to them. I agree 100% with all that. But what I can tell you, the only thing that I feel analysts, I won't even say get right, but at least that I can, what I can glean from their price targets and their upgrades and downgrades and all this sort of stuff like that. The only thing that actually is actionable in my mind is they tell me where the momentum is going. And right now, unfortunately, the momentum is negative for PayPal. And obviously that's not a good sign for us as shareholders, because it means Wall Street has kind of soured on the stock for now. And that's absolutely what a lot of folks are thinking. Second, Wall Street is just not liking the growth that they guided to. Now look, you guys know, I know, we've talked about it here probably, I don't know, 10 times or so, that this turnaround is going to be slow. It is not going to be fast. And I understand after the earnings call, I remember a lot of the comments in my videos about PayPal were specifically about that. And why isn't the turnaround faster? And why are things moving slower than we expected? And well, that's because management told us it was going to take a year, maybe longer, to do this entire turnaround. So much like a lot of folks reacted to that earnings call, it seems like Wall Street is basically not listening either, and PayPal is just not moving fast enough for what they want to see. This is why I say they don't listen to the earnings call. Now, sure, they may be, on the call and listening, but they're looking for certain cues. They're looking for certain numbers. They're looking for certain data points, and that's it. And it generally has nothing to do with what was said last time versus this time, or a lot of other things like that. They're not putting together the entire picture. They're just reacting to whatever metric, whatever number they're looking for, and that's it. If they don't hear it, then for them, it's an immediate downgrade. And remember, I know that they are analysts, but there is zero analysis actually going on in regards to earnings. They're looking for certain things, and that's it. They're not looking to do the deeper work to understand and analyze exactly what's going on and exactly how management is performing to what they said in the first place. It's not analytical, despite them all being analysts. And remember, I don't care about downgrades, but I also don't care about upgrades as well. So to me, that's not a catalyst for a stock either. It just tells me that a stock is on a run. Whenever I hear upgrade, I roll my eyes and I move on. I don't freaking care. It doesn't signal anything to me, just like downgrades really don't signal anything to me either, because they do the same exact thing to the upside. All it means is that there's momentum going up, and now they're gonna, put a little pre-chart and a graph up there and tell you the new price target's this. And you see sometimes they just all of a sudden they double the price target. We've seen that with some of the other stocks that are running right now. All of a sudden they'll just like double their price target. It's like, what happened? Sometimes it's before an earnings call. It's like, what happened before this earnings call that triggered a double in a price target? Like, valuations don't change double over the course of any sort of, even over the course of an earnings call. You can have a great blowout, incredible earnings call, and there's nothing I've ever seen on any earnings call that justified a double in a price target. So it just shows you how utterly ridiculous and useless everything they do is, outside of just telling me where the momentum is going. And third, this stopped the momentum among traders who had started to get behind the stock. We had great momentum from the traders after we kind of hit that bottom, right? When we got down around $50 or so, it rallied and traders rallied it up over $60 or so, and we were able to hold that line. It really was a good support for the stock there, and that kind of kept us above that. Even after earnings, you saw it went back down, but then quickly it started rising right back up the very next day until the upgrade started coming, and then the traders being traders started beating it down, and we've just had a hard time taking that $60 line back. These downgrades, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's fair or not, absolutely stifle the momentum that we had coming into earnings behind the stock, where you essentially saw a big move up from that bottom. Close to 20% move up coming into earnings there. And again, after earnings, even though it dipped down, there was still a lot of buying pressure coming back in. And then once the downgrade started, it kind of waned away and it kind of went away from there. So kind of short term, this is keeping us below that $60 mark. And yes, if not for these downgrades, I absolutely think we would have already taken that $60 mark and we would kind of started the slow march back up, which will happen. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. We'll get to it, guys. But first, we got to talk about the positive news for PayPal as well, because there was some positive news that came out this week as well. They invested in generative conversational AI company Raza. And yes, I have no idea, RASA is how you spell it. I have no idea if I got the pronunciation right or not, or if you say it as an acronym or not. I have no idea. I apologize in advance, but that doesn't really matter. This aligns exactly with the new innovations that they're trying to bring to the app itself. So basically, this is kind of the way I view this. This proves that they are trying to lean forward and get ahead and be the innovator in the space instead of what they currently are, and they're trying to change that. What they currently are is significantly behind and not even close to an innovator. They're not even just up to spec, much less being an innovator. They're behind. And so this right here is a huge move that they're not just trying to catch up, but they are actually trying to get ahead and be the innovator in the space. Now, obviously, they have to execute. They have to get there. And they're not there yet. Trust me, they're not there yet. But at least it shows that they are absolutely going for it. And that's big in my eyes. Second, changes are already taking place. Look, guys, just this year, just 2024, just in this year, I have already seen more posts in my group from users of PayPal or Venmo or whatever the case is of upgrades and things coming to the app that are significant improvements over what the app could do prior. And I'm telling you guys, it is more in just this first few months here of 2024 than it was the previous 3 years in regards to innovations there at PayPal and things coming to the app and Venmo and everything else like that. So that is a very, very good sign that there are things happening right now, and not one, not two, but multiple that are happening that just honestly, I don't know why they didn't happen 3 years ago, but the fact is PayPal wasn't doing them, and now they're executing them quickly and quietly, more importantly, and making the user experience better at every stage. I think the latest one was in Venmo is like splitting up group expenses, and you kind of create a group in order to split expenses and stuff like that. Awesome. Agreed. Something they should have done a long time ago. But the fact is they didn't do it a long time ago, and they're rapidly doing all these things now. And more importantly to me, it shows getting up to the here and now, not, obviously the innovation piece is the other piece we just talked about there. But also I like the fact that they're just kind of doing it quietly as opposed to acting like a legacy company who would be touting this as this new great feature that totally takes PayPal and Venmo into the future and all this other, stupid hyperbole like that. That right there is what a legacy style management team would be doing whenever they finally kind of come up with something that kind of just brings them to the here and now. They'd be touting it as this big deal, and they'd have a big press release about it and everything else like that. And PayPal's just quietly adding these things in the background, which tells you they view it as, yeah, this is just something we should have done a long time ago. Here we go. We're going to make our clients and our customers happy. So again, I like the way that they're doing that. And these are all great signs pointing towards execution of what we need from PayPal. Now, they still got to prove it. I agree. But at least for now, we are seeing tangible evidence that they are moving in that direction. Unfortunately, none of these things we talked about today are going to affect the stock price today in a positive manner. I'm sorry, guys. I know everybody out there, especially PayPal bulls or bulls of any company, like to throw out all these catalysts that aren't catalysts and things of that nature. But the reality is improving the user experience helps your stock in the long term. But in the short term, if it doesn't drive more revenue and a lot more revenue, and then obviously a lot more profits, it's not going to do much for the stock price. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now with these moves. Is I think they're important moves long term, but short term, we're not going to get anything in terms of the pop in the stock there. And again, I'm just trying to be honest with you guys and very, very real with you guys in regards to how this affects PayPal stock and how it actually affects the bottom line. I've seen too many investors get burned by all the hype and all the other hoopla and all the other stuff like that. This isn't it. These are just good steps, but they absolutely are not going to help that bottom line. But hold on, whoa. There is something that we are starting to see that I do believe long-term is setting us up as well, hitting that bottom line. That to me is important in regards to the stock price, and it really has nothing to do with anything PayPal's doing, but more that we are starting to see, especially after earnings, we're starting to see institutional buyers start coming in and buying up the stock and kind of stopping that downward momentum whenever we're getting dips in the stock. We're starting to see that just a little bit. It'll be very, very interesting next quarter to kind of see everybody's filings to see who actually piled in and how much they put into PayPal itself on those dips. We won't have that information for a while now, guys, but whenever you start looking at some of the volume that happened after earnings, and I'm talking buying volume here, not the selling volume, we saw some really great signs. Trust me, that's not you and I in retail jumping in there and doing that. It's somebody a lot bigger than us doing that. And if you want to see all my buys of PayPal, if I decide to add more in real time and a bunch of other stocks, see my watch list complete with price targets for all 15 stocks I'm looking to buy. And the upgraded course is almost complete there. So if you want to actually be able to take that course that is like 3 times bigger than the old course, or be able to use a stock analyzer tool, be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8 figure Discord, or just have direct access to me anytime you want, make sure you check out the pinned comment down there and see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.